Hi, folks, and welcome back to another edition of Rich Conversations, a series of real short, snappy one to ones between me, Rich, and somebody in my network who I see as being an absolute expert in their field. And today I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by Arthur Charvonia, who is the Chief Executive at Babergh and Mid Suffolk Councils. Hi, Arthur.
Hi, Rich.
Great to see, and thank you so much for spending a bit of time with me today to discuss one or two topics. And I want to talk about learning and development and the importance of investing in people. Arthur, in the sector right now, I mean, budgets have never been tighter than they've ever been. We're looking under every stone, I guess, at times to try and find where we can make those savings. Yet, thankfully, learning and development and investing in people seems to be something that most organisations are continuing to do. I'd love to get your insight on that. Kind of why is that? Why is it so important not to shave off the learning and development budget?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the temptation would be there, wouldn't it, to simply say we need to cut our cloth, we need to tighten our belts, and therefore to reduce the amount you're spending on development and training and support. And yet, for me, the opposite is absolutely true because the reality is, particularly in local government, what are we? We're a business that's all about people. We don't make things most of the time. We don't produce widgets. We're about people and the quality of people we do. And if we're asking everybody to be able to be that more innovative, be more skilled, uh, and go in a different direction to where we've been in the past, then clearly we need to wrap our support around them to be able to do exactly that. We can't just keep asking people to do more of the same without that additional support. And life's also much more messy and more complicated than it's ever been. So for me, it's not just about skills development, it's also about well-being support as well. So that investment in our people in all different shapes and forms um, is absolutely vital, and it's the same and equally true with apprenticeships. The temptation might be in a climate like this to say, well, we'll have to cut back on the number of apprenticeships or graduates or interns. Actually, I think we should be doubling it. I think we should be increasing even more. And again, of course, for local government, that's an investment directly in our communities as well. So there's a win-win there for us in terms of what might just feel like an investment in people on one level actually is investment in our communities at exactly the same time.
Sure, and I guess right now it's there's this whole challenge and battle with us of not just attracting new talent into the sector, but retaining it as well. So I suppose by offering employees a whole host of skills and training and different experiences can go through, can look make us look really attractive in this market, which is tough at the moment for employers.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, we can't retain people beyond their natural career paths, if you like. So, if somebody gets an opportunity elsewhere that's more money or greater prospect in terms of their career, and it's something that as an organization we can't quite offer them at this point in time, of course they're going to want to go. And I would say they go with my blessing. I'd far rather have people for a shorter period of time at their peak, and then they outgrow us and they move on and they go somewhere else. And if I'm lucky, at a future date they'll come back round and they'll want to work for me again in a more senior role potentially, and that's the right way to do it. But in terms of generally making sure that we've got good retention packages, we need to be careful. Local government needs to be careful, as you say. The belts need to be tightened, and there's no point us all just keep chasing the pound. But we also need to make sure that we're paying fair wage for fair work. And so, certainly in my organisation in Babergh and Mid Suffolk, we're currently going through a pay review to make sure that, with the very least, we're competitive. That doesn't mean going right to the top, but at the very least, we're competitive. But I think in going through that process, what it has demonstrated to me is that pay is only one element, and one relatively small element actually, of what everybody is looking for when it comes to work. And it's much more about culture, behaviors, values, fit. Because if you've got all of those, I'm not saying you should be skimping in terms of salaries, but at the same time, if you've got all of those are the reasons why people want to stay, because they can feel they're making a difference. They can see they're making a difference. There's an environment and a culture that works, whether that's your operating environment, your office type of situation, or your colleagues and the culture and the values and behaviors you've got underpinning it. So for us and for me, it's very much investing in all of those things alongside salary, of course, rather than the kind of artificial perks of, well, there's some fresh fruit in the office or there's whatever in the that nice to have, don't get me wrong, but that really doesn't compensate for the challenges that people are facing day in, day out, whether those are financial challenges or whether those are mental health challenges or whether they're just the workload that we have to get through. So it's a real blend that I think is vital.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, listen, Arthur, thanks ever so much. It's been really insightful, and I've loved picking your brains on that topic. So I really appreciate your time. Thanks ever so much.
Not a problem. Thank you.
So, folks, catch up with me again soon for another edition of Rich Conversations. Cheers.